Just refueled here to start the trip. 278,509 is the miles. I'll be driving unloaded back to the trailer just like I did on the last trip that we just filled up here at Clark's. Hey y'all, and welcome. Here's a quick look at the setup. We got the 09 2500 Ram Cummins 6-speed manual long bed right here, hooked up to the 1987 Ponderosa gooseneck horse trailer. It's an old steel trailer that I'm using as a camper today. Here we are, all hooked up, ready to hit the road. Let's get on the road because I'm running behind schedule, and we'll talk about what we're doing in there. Hey y'all, so we have hit the road and I'm headed on a camping trip, and it's the trip that I've done before. It's been a while, and that gave me the idea for this video. So back in 2019, that's 5 years ago, I did the same trip with the same truck, same trailer, and the truck was bone stock back then. Now we have intake, exhaust, tuning, even though it's a stock tune, no added power tune. I want to see what the difference is in the fuel mileage that the truck gets. I did 2 runs back in 2019. The first run, we got 13.6 miles a gallon. We had 25 unloaded miles. We had about 130-ish loaded miles. The second trip, we got 14.9, which was kind of impressive, but we had more unloaded miles, maybe 70 unloaded miles, and then the same 130 or so with the trailer in tow. This time around, I expect it to be closer to the second trip because it is a 2-night trip. We'll probably get about 70 unloaded miles. And what I did before was I went to town, I filled the truck up. I did not have the trailer with me at the time. I drove back to pick up the trailer, and then we set out. We're doing the exact same thing this time as well. And then the same deal on the return trip, drop the trailer off, head to town, fill up at the same pump that we used before, and see what the mileage is. So this should be very interesting. So I don't think it's going to be a perfect test, apples to apples, but it's going to be very close, and it's going to be worth looking at. You know, it's going to be meaningful, whatever the results of this test are. So let's talk about variables. The truck stayed the same, the trailer stayed the same, the route that I'm driving is staying the same. The purpose of the trip, the kind of unloaded miles we'll do once we're there, very similar. I'll be going to some of the same restaurants for dinner, blah, blah, blah. The weather conditions are going to be the same. It's summertime, very similar weather as we had on the last trip. The tuning, exhaust intake changed. Possibly we can have more or less unloaded miles, probably more, but that's why I would compare this result more to the 14.9 result we had last year than the 13.6. Here we are in the spot. No problems on the drive. I'm thankful for that. Let's get unhooked. All right, I have not wasted any time getting some lines in the water. Already realizing how many things I've forgotten on this trip. One of the things was the PVC pipes that I can put in the ground to hold the rods. I'm having to put the rods up in the trees here. These aren't ideal rods for this situation, but all I've got is my big surf rods, and I've made this work in the past. But we are here at Davis Bayou in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And this is a great little fishing spot back in the woods right behind my campsite. It looks to be low tide right now. There's a little crab. Nice view out here. It's really nice to come out here early in the morning or around dusk as well. You see a lot of gators out here at night. And I've caught a bunch of redfish in this spot in the past. Just putting some cut mullet out there. There's another crab. I've seen gar in here. There's a lot of catfish, saltwater catfish in here, which I'm not particularly a fan of, but they're here. It's mostly redfish we're after. All right, here we are, first cast of the day. This is gonna be a hardhead catfish. This is what I'm talking about with the saltwater cats. I'm just happy to be on the board at this point, but if we keep catching them on every cast, I'll get sick of them. But all right, good start. All right, this is how we do it here. I've got my longer line here. This is an 11-foot. I'm remembering my strategy, and I'm gonna just toss it over top of this branch here, but try and get in the middle of the channel around where the bend is there. And it just takes a little bit of a technique to do it. Perfect. Just kind of lob it, but not whack the branch with the rod. And then we're just gonna have to set this back over this branch here. Just let it sit right there. Perfect. Thought I'd give y'all a little tour now that we're all set up and parked here of the trailer. I got the AC on. AC's working great. Look around here. So right now I am using this trailer to pretty much store a lot of my lawn equipment and anything that would have been in a garage or shed. So we have quite a few items here. Even got my generator there. Tack room here. We've got about 11 gallons of ethanol-free gas in here. 3 chainsaws. So we got more stuff in the trailer than we've had in the past. And then this happened. This trailer's got a lot of rust. I mean, the important stuff like the frame is good, but stuff like that, I stepped on that and that was the last time it would be stepped on. Let's take a look inside. Once again, more storage in here. A lot of the stuff used to be in my shed at my old house. Now I don't have a shed, so. But I did all these, this remodeling, so to speak. Put this shelf in, this brick stuff, put this on the walls. This AC unit was put in at the same time. This is my first road trip with the trailer since I did all that stuff almost 2 years ago. We got a full mattress here. Headroom is not very good, but it's a place to sleep with AC, and that is about it. Nothing fancy. I did this floor myself, the staining, it's plywood floor. Then I went around here like this to put this little table in for the coffee maker. Could set up Christmas lights if I wanted. If I was staying longer, I probably would. But yeah, so that's the trailer. This is me with a spotted gar. When I caught this, I thought it was an alligator gar at first. I saw that green color and that was my first thought. But after review, I think this was just a spotted gar, which I've caught a few of these before. But this is the first one I've caught at this spot. And I've hooked a couple gar, or what I believe to be gar at this spot. I mentioned about them earlier in the video, but I've never got them to stay on the hook. They have a real bony beak and it's hard to hook them. So this one I finally got the hook set and reeled in. And so very interesting catch, and I was happy to catch this fish. Fish just jumped there, but I've come back out for a few more casts, see if we can add to our day. It's been kind of a slow day besides the one catfish in the gar. You can see all these egrets in these trees. They go in there every night. They've been doing that ever since I've camped here. And I started camping here almost 10 years ago. They're always there every night. All right, it's been a slow day. We got on the board with a couple of catfish this morning, and then just nothing since. And this guy has swallowed the hook, but we have a redfish. Interestingly, no spot on his tail, and I don't think I've ever caught one without a spot. I've caught one with 2 spots, 3 spots. I think I had one with 4 spots one time, but 0 on this one. Little guy. Well, that was a fun trip. Now we got to make the trip home. All hooked up here, about to head out. Hopefully all goes well. This has been a smooth trip thus far. Just coming down here to the bayou one last time before we head out. The final fishing total was day 1 we had 2 hardhead cats, 1 spotted gar. Day 2 we had 2 hardhead cats and 1 redfish. Interestingly, it was the first cast of the day that we got the cats, and that was it. So yesterday I thought when we had 2 on 1 hook on the first cast, I thought we were going to do big numbers, but it was quality, not quantity this time around. I will take the quality over quantity anytime though. Good bit of traffic out here for a Sunday. One thing I noticed, temperature-wise, we were running 200 degrees back when the truck was all stock, but now we are running more like your typical 190-ish that you would see unloaded. So the stress on the cooling system definitely lower than it was when we were all stock. All right, here we are back in our spot. Smooth trip. Really had a good time with this towing experience this time. No traffic, no weather causing me stress. Did really well this time around. So we're gonna unhook the trailer, head to town, fill the truck up, and see what our fuel mileage is. It was 68 miles once again with the trailer in tow. So we'll do the math to figure out how much unloaded miles we had and see what our final MPG result is. So on this return trip, we did better. My right turn signal, I got it working this morning. For some reason, I just couldn't get that to flash last week. I had previously fixed it. Some sort of wiring issue. And it's still working, so it survived the trip. And my trailer brakes didn't seem to be working on the trip over there, but seem to be working now. So I think maybe it had something to do with how this was plugged in, even though I kept messing with it and made no difference on the trip over there. All right, quick pit stop. Need some 2x4s, some 8-foot sticks. Got our long bed here, but got so much obstructions in the front of the bed. Part of me wants to take the toolbox and that out of here. But still have a place to put these. Okay, here is our final mileage. We're at 725. We started at 509. We're back here at Clark's at the same pump. Here's our prices. Actually came down a little bit. 322, I'll take it. And we're off. When this finishes, I'm gonna do the maybe 15-second wait and then top it. Make sure it's full. And then we'll do our calculation. Still going here. Oh, there we go.
spot.
Give it 15, 20 seconds. All right, here we go.
This takes the STS into open world territory. Are they prepping players for a metaverse experience? We'll find out when it drops in October.
That's
Man,
it.
better stock up on it.
All right, let's see if it lets me film and pull my calculator up. So we have 216 total miles, of which 136 was with the trailer, 80 unloaded. So a little bit more unloaded miles than the 14.9 trip, but not a whole lot more. So let's see. Okay, so this is coming as a shocker. Here's the numbers. 14.91. Virtually unchanged fuel mileage compared to before. I know the trailer was a bit heavier, but we did do a little bit more unloaded miles. I don't know, this is pretty disappointing, I would say. I don't know about this. 14.9 again. So what other comments can I make? What excuses can I come up with for why we didn't see the results that we expected on this run? So my theory was that we were going to narrow, that it wouldn't be a 2 mile a gallon difference like unloaded. It would be more like maybe a 1 mile a gallon difference. But I wasn't expecting it to narrow that much. Now what we could do is take our two old results and average the two together and get something like 14.5, and then we could say that we improved by about half a mile a gallon. That's possible. I think I need to do another run with this setup at some point. I'd like to make another trip in October, and so then we have 2 runs for each situation. The only things I can really think of is the trailer was a little bit heavier by about 500 pounds, I thought. And maybe we idled a bit more. The first night coming back to the campground, the gates were closed. I didn't know the passcode to the gate. I had to wait for someone to come. It took about 10 minutes, but 10 minutes of idling shouldn't undermine our stats that much. Of course, we had our idling when hooking up the trailer and unhooking the trailer, but we had that before as well. And then our unloaded miles maybe was a bit more city heavy. Maybe we were looking at more like 20% city instead of about 10% last time. I had some plans to do a little more highway driving, but some restaurants that I used to go to are now closed down, and I ended up going in town and doing more of a local city drive on those trips. But still, we ended up with more unloaded miles anyways. So it's hard to say that that would make much of a difference either. And these trucks kind of shrug off those city miles. So I don't know. I can't really fully explain why we didn't get much of an MPG boost. So to conclude the video, a bit of a surprising result. The truck and trailer, though, they did wonderfully this weekend. The truck, very impressive. This was a walk in the park for this truck, and I was loving the setup, the G56 and all that. This is what I got this truck to do, and it does it wonderfully. I know sometimes I get irritated with the G56 in the city or just daily driving, commuting to work and things, but on the highway with the trailer, it was wonderful with the G56. You know, kind of rekindles my enthusiasm for driving this truck. And maybe reduces the desire for me to trade it in for an automatic. So good job on the truck, good job on the trailer. And that's gonna be it for me today. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you next time.